Good morning, everyone. This is Michael Virardi, and I'm so excited because we're starting another episode of Jumpstart Monday. And today we're starting a new series on power skills. You know, power skills, what they teach you at university or during an internship, can get the job done right. But it takes soft skills, what we call power skills, in order to get the job done in an extraordinary fashion. Well, our today's guest is Costas Papaellinas, and I will be talking about him in just a little while. But let me tell you that for me, power skills and optimism, which is our first skill of the day, is probably one of the most important skills to know about, because with COVID having one foot inside the door and one foot outside the door, and a war that broke out just 5 days ago, if there is a time that we need optimism, is today. And optimism for me is finding the opportunity amidst the chaos. So Sophia, what is optimism to you? Welcome on to Jumpstart Monday, and let us know what is optimism to you.
Hi, Michael. Hi, everyone. And I fully agree with you about the definition of optimism. For me, optimism is the energy that lifts me up when I'm facing a challenge, when I'm down. And the same energy comes back to me when I'm helping other people overcome a challenge. And it brings my mind to an example. 2 years ago, when COVID broke, I was feeling very down because I lost a big contract with a client. And it just so happened that the same day, I was watching you trying to give a webinar and you were facing technical challenges. And I said to myself, I've been following this man for a while. I admire him. Why don't I forget my feelings and try and help him? And that's what happened. I helped you and we did a great webinar. And suddenly I started feeling better and a great collaboration started. So I think optimism is contagious. And I'm so glad we have such a great guest on our show today, because he is a person who is bringing optimism to his team. So I will let you introduce him.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Sophia. As I said earlier, for those who are joining in, hard skills get the job done right, but it takes power skills, what most people call soft skills, to get the job done in an extraordinary fashion. Well, our guest for today is Costas Papaellinas. He's the CEO of Costas Papaellinas Group. I had the honor and the pleasure to meet him in person, to work side by side with him when I trained his team on 3 different occasions. And I was in the room when he addressed his team. As soon as I saw Paris talking to his team during difficult times many years ago in 2013, but also just a few months ago, 6 months ago, I said that it will be a dream come true if we introduce Paris to the world at large, to our fans and our friends. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Costas Papaellinas and thank you for doing us the honor to be on our show. Costas, welcome to the Jumpstart Monday show.
Okay, thank you very much for your kind words. You always over-exaggerate. Thanks a lot anyway.
I'm not over-exaggerating, but you're modest and humble. So Paris, as I said earlier, we're talking about optimism, and we're taking questions that, because there are questions coming in already, but I want to ask you 2 simple questions and we can start our conversation. Can you please help me by sharing some moments in your professional or personal life where optimism helped you or your team overcome obstacles?
Well, there are many cases. We live in a troubled country in Cyprus, and we've had many difficulties in the past. I remember in 2013, our banking system really collapsed at that time. And practically the whole country went bankrupt. So there was chaos. People didn't know how to react. The companies, even big companies like ours, they were laying off people. Other companies, they were reducing the salaries by 30, 40%. If you had money in the bank, and this is a lesson for the Europeans, it happened first to us. If you had money in the bank, you had 1 or 2 million, let's say, deposited, you were left with 100,000. And from that time on, all the Europeans, they get a letter from their bank at the end of the year saying that they guarantee only 100,000 of your deposits. So this happened actually first in Cyprus. And as you understand, I was shocked. My company is a family company. At that time, we had 80, 85 years of existence. And I said to myself, maybe this is the end of the empire that my father built and I followed. But then I sat down and I said, wait a minute. My father survived the Second World War, survived the Turkish invasion of 1974, that we lost about 30% of the country. And now I'm faced with this problem. We lost a lot of money, of course, but mostly we had to do with the morale of the people, how to get them going again, because everybody was in despair. So I called a meeting of the representatives of the company. We don't have a formal union or anything like this. So I called my managers. I called about 40 people out of 320 that we had at the time. And first of all, I sat down with my top executives and we made a plan of how to survive in the next 2 years, because it was a year-by-year thing, you know. And we drew up the figures. We saw that with certain elimination of costs, with more sound management, etc., we could survive, because my company is mostly in the medical field, medical and pharmaceutical. So these are necessities for the people. They were not going, you know, the GDP of Cyprus dropped by 10% at the time in 2 months. So, but still, I thought that for us, there was hope and optimism. And there had to be a way to relay this to our people. So I said to our people 2 things. First of all, nobody's going to get fired. And that was in a time that everybody was getting fired. I said, I guarantee to you that nobody's going to get fired for the next 2 years, at least. Second, the only thing I ask from you is to take a pay cut, not 30 or 40%, but 12%. And actually, the lower income people would get no pay cut. I put this on a referendum. I'm not so democratic usually, but I thought that was a good trick, you know, to make the people, to awake the people, you know. Yeah. And out of the 320 employees, 301 voted. 300, they said yes. Only one said no. Okay. So this really filled the people with optimism that we could survive and we could do things. And Michael, you know, the productivity skyrocketed. The next 2 years, these people, they worked so hard that not only we had no losses, but we made profits in these most difficult 2 years of Cyprus.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I know you have other products as well. Those other products, cosmetics and everything, have they suffered? And what was the balance between pharmaceutical and cosmetics and or other products that you carry in your
of course they have suffered. Of course they have suffered. The cosmetics, because we have high-end cosmetic, it's not mass market cosmetics. And also the consumer products, the Nivea products, the supermarket items, they suffered. But again, you know, if the people are productive, you can make up for the lost ground.
Yes, I understand. You told us, Paris, what is optimism to you and how you acted. How do you teach your people, or how do you educate your people or your teams to be more optimistic? Is there a way you think we can educate our people, for anyone listening in?
Well, I don't think there is a specific way to teach optimism. You know, I come from sports, and in sports they say that a good coach is as good as his people. On the other hand, you lead by example. For example, if I preach that my people, they have to be punctual in their meetings, I cannot be the last one attending the meeting. If I preach that in our organization, because it's a family business, we have to be polite, we have to cooperate, we have to be well-mannered to our subordinates and our employees, I cannot go and get crazy and shout and use vulgar language. in the same way, if I'm miserable, if I, the top of the company, am miserable, and I always complain about the new taxes, about the new legislation, about the pandemic, about the unfair competition, about the war, then all my people will be miserable. But if I am positive, if I smile, if I say, don't worry, we'll take care of that. If I emphasize, and this is key, when you make SWOT analysis, you say, what are the strengths and the weaknesses? What are the opportunities and what are the threats? I take only half of it. Okay, we examine the weaknesses and the threats, but I always emphasize the opportunities and the strengths of our organization. I'll give you another example. 3 years ago, in Cyprus, there was the introduction of the so-called YESI. YESI is the General Health System. There was a big turmoil in the market because in Cyprus, the system was half private and half government. And now there was going to be a mixed system. And there was a big reaction from the private doctors, the private clinics, from the government, from the trade. We didn't know what to do, and as I told you, about 60% of our business is in this sector. So all my managers, they were very upset. They didn't know what to expect. There was no optimism. There was panic, not optimism. So again, I called all these managers, about 12 managers from the medical department, and I said to them, look, guys, who is the stronger player in this market? Us or the competition? We have more than 100 people in the market. The competition has maximum 40, the top company of the competition. Okay, so we have the best medical reps. We have the best managers because everybody is trying to pick you up and take you to the competition. You are the best managers. We have the best engineers. We have the best service managers because we sell also MRIs, CTs, ultrasound, etc. Okay, so this is our strength. We are going to beat everybody else. We have to convince the government to use good products, not Chinese, not Indian. No, with all respect to the Indians and the Chinese.
Okay. Not to start a war. Not to start a war now.
Sorry about that. Please. Yes, because we represent American and European companies. Okay, top quality products in cardiology, in orthopedics, etc. So you have to convince them, and this is a great opportunity for you. You are going to make a lot of money because your sales can double. You can get a lot of bonuses, and this you have to relate to your people because your people, they work on commission. So if they increase their sales, they're going to make very good salaries. So this is optimism, This is how you challenge people. You give them the clues of how to be positive and how to set targets, how to set new goals in their life, how to educate themselves to become better.
Very good, Paris. And thank you for all of this. I'm going to recap in just a little while. But Sophia, do we have some questions coming up? I've seen some questions. Can we shoot 1 or 2 questions to Paris, if that's okay with him?
Yes, we have one question from Giorgio Anu, who is one of our biggest fans. And he's saying, what is the relation of hope and optimism, and how are they different?
Okay. Hope is, that's a very difficult question. It's a philosophical question. I think optimism is based more on facts than hope. Hope is just a general sentiment, it's a general feeling. Optimism, you can actually base it on facts. And to me, the opportunity that comes every day with a new day, with a new week, with a new year, unfinished business. So much we can do, so many unfulfilled dreams that we can do, so many challenges to achieve. So if you are ready to be stronger, smarter, and better, I think you can achieve all these dreams. There's so much you can do.
I have another question from George Sfichtos. He's saying, what is Paris' advice to young people who are entering the marketplace today?
Okay, I know George. Thank you very much, George, for that. He's a buddy of ours here at Keravnos Club. So my advice is to study and become an expert in the field they are in, because only if you feel confident about yourself, and confidence comes only with a lot of studying and knowing your subject. If you are in sales, study about sales, and not just sales, study about the subject. If you are in technology, be the master of technology. If you are in marketing, be the master of marketing. If you are in communication, be the master of communication. If you study, then immediately you gain confidence, and by confidence, you are going to succeed.
That's amazing. I have some comments, if you allow me, Mr. Paris, to show them, because I think they are great. Sotia Christus says, hell is a place where one has ceased hope. Elada says, optimism is an attitude and mindset. Hope is our inner thoughts. And then I have here Vaso Vardaki, who says, as leaders, we have the responsibility to cultivate a productive optimism among our people, but also to coach our people on a growth mindset for success. And then she says, good morning. Well, so I think we come to an end. Michael has a technical issue, so he was kicked out, but it's fine. But thank you very much for being here. I think you showed an example of how a leader should face challenges, how a leader should bring the optimism in the people. I like the example that you gave, that you gave a referendum to the people, so they took ownership. They felt like it was their decision, and it was their decision, and they agreed with you. I don't know if you have any last comments about optimism before we close.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts with you. Thanks a lot, Sophia and Michael.
Thank you very much. It is an honor.
Okay, thanks.